This is gonna sound a lot better this stream. I'm gonna make sure of it. New MrBeast video react. That'll work. I think.
I'm hungry. I'll write jokes for food. I wish a philanthropist YouTuber would just give me 10K and not film it. Hey, what the hell happened to you? MrBeast, that's what happened to me.
What we do here is go back.
I was gonna be somebody. I was gonna be the Carl took my job. Carl took my job. It's the worst production I've ever made me do. Oh, no. I didn't. No.
Okay, content cop from Temu back at it again. So just before I get into my interrogation with former MrBeast employee Jake Weddle, a lot has happened since my last video. After posting like hundreds of messages from former MrBeast employees, and I had them all like send proof of former employment. You know, just people showing their support or telling their stories of you know, fake videos or unsafe practices, you know, toxic workplace, stuff like that. I'm not really gonna get into those claims because for one, like, most people want to stay anonymous, which I understand. And also, like, I think most of that stuff's just been covered with you know, the news coming out about Beast Games and everything. And also I have like more serious allegations that I want to start covering. Also, I heard from a very credible source that MrBeast has been sitting on a response to part 1 because he was worried if he posted it, I would instantly respond with part 2, you know, like this is Kids Bop, Kendrick Lamar vs. Drake. Also, I know MrBeast's secret CEO has been practically like harassing my people on, you know, hey, what's in part 2? What does he know? So I will just tell you, James, what will be in part 3, so you don't have to harass my people. It will be about serious allegations of sexual misconduct in the company and your direct involvement in covering up those crimes. And I'll make sure to give you full credit and plaster your face all over the screen when we talk about that. So yeah, I've gotten dozens of messages from former MrBeast employees of very serious allegations. So I just want to put a call to action at the start of this video that, you know, if you have a story, you can DM me. Just make sure you send proof of employment first, because I get a lot of DMs. And like, as much as I meme and joke around, like, I take anonymity very seriously. So without explicit permission, I don't go public with anything. And obviously, if it goes to court,
I got it right here. I pulled this out of my closet. It's sitting right here. It's my shirt, my 1B shirt. And these allegations come back true. We're gonna burn it. We'll burn it on stream. I'll burn it inside. I don't give a fuck.
I would hope they would censor your information from the court documents. I don't know. Oh, and former contestants too. That's another thing I heard after posting my last video is during the 100 Boys versus Girls video, I have people corroborating the same story that the camera guy who gave the girls a drone was making some girls feel uncomfortable. You know, you trap these girls in a circle and make them sleep on rough turf and get them high on paint fumes, and then you try to f them.
Okay, that seems really dark.
No, it's not dark. You're misunderstanding me, bro.
I think I am.
Yeah, you are. Because if the girl said no, then the answer obviously is no.
No.
But the thing is she's not gonna say no. She would never say no because of the implication.
Anyway, so that will be part 3. So, you know, MrBeast, do with that information what you will. I know Chucky didn't want to respond to those allegations. So anyway, my interview with Jake Weddle, I chose to interview him because I thought he was perfect because he was both on camera and behind the scenes in 2019 and 2020. And also, what people don't know is that he came back in 2021 to be the sole contestant of a MrBeast video, which never got uploaded because it went very badly. He also knows about another portable document format who was working at MrBeast while actually on the registry. And I'll get more into that story at the end of the video. So I got his DM, drove straight to New York overnight, did not sleep, just drank a bunch of caffeine. And I also only had one microphone in the interview, which he's wearing. So it's mostly just him talking. Also, like, final thing, people said my last video started slow. This video also starts slow. You know, it builds up over time, but I'll do the retention thing and say, the ending will blow your mind. It's crazy. Yeah. Okay, Jake Weddle, everybody.
I'm Jake Weddle. Most people who, if you know me from MrBeast, I'm a deep cut. I'm in a few of the videos, sometimes maybe purposefully kept to the shadows a little bit. I'm in the cutting room floor a lot of the time. But I've been in some videos, I've worked on a lot of them. I was there from 2019 to 2020, 2021-ish when I came back and did some more. I was there when they were authentic, and then I saw the transition to what I feel like is a company. He's like a TV show now. It went from YouTuber guy with a camera to Amazon. The culture around there was very unspoken, but there was a vibe. There was half the people who, if you made Jimmy happy, you were on the good half. And these people got random bonuses and were usually moved up, had more screen time. And then there was people who, if you had a disagreement or butt heads with Jimmy or just you didn't like it, you know, you were the other half. And I consistently was in the half that Jimmy doesn't like me. That's fine. I don't like him either. It's okay. Oh, that feels so good to say. I don't like Jimmy. I hate you so much. He didn't want anyone to get more popular or have more of a way out necessarily. Like, oh, I'm doing my Twitch thing on the side. Don't do that because you could get famous and leave and talk about me negatively. And I could tell that the yes men were, you know, doing well. And I was, you know, disgruntled for quite some time. So I've talked to reporters, right? Like publicly. And I've always had to choose my words very, very carefully because I don't want to say anything I don't stand behind, obviously. So I used to talk to people. I used to glaze Jimmy publicly for things I do genuinely think are true. But then it's like, well, how come you didn't talk about the working conditions? Well, I wanted a career. I didn't want to, you know, speak ill of YouTube's golden boy and then I'm blacklisted forever. I tell people I was talking to you and they go, "Don't, what are you doing? You're going to kill your career." It's like, I have to or I'll be sad. If this is the moment, we're going to talk about it. So as far as that, that's my covering up the...
Okay. Gotcha. So yeah, wow, this has already got 623,000 views in the last 3 hours.
Why we didn't talk about XYZ sooner, but...
I mean, we all have been in a company, or maybe most of us anyways, have been in a company where it's like, they like you, you're good. If they don't like you, then you're not good. And that's basically what this guy's saying is like, they didn't like him, he wasn't good.
And talk about me negatively. And I could tell that the yes men were, you know, doing well. And I was, you know, disgruntled for quite some time. So I've talked to reporters, right? Like publicly. And I've always had to choose my words very, very carefully because I don't want to say anything I don't stand behind, obviously. So I used to talk to people. I used to glaze Jimmy publicly for things I do genuinely think are true. But then it's like, well, how come you didn't talk about the working conditions? Well, I wanted a career. I didn't want to, you know, speak ill of YouTube's golden boy and then I'm blacklisted forever. I tell people I was talking to you and they go, "Don't, what are you doing? You're going to kill your career." It's like, I have to or I'll be sad. If this is the moment, we're going to talk about it. So as far as that, that's my covering up the why we didn't talk about XYZ sooner, but now you know.
What would you say is the fakest video that you worked on while you were there?
Fakest video that I worked on while I was there. This is the extent of the fakeness that I was involved to. This is admitting to my complicity. I was a writer there, and we were working on a video, crushing my friend's car with a rock or meteor or something. It was a rock or a meteor in the title of it. I can't remember, but he wanted to do a prank where, unbeknownst to the person, he takes a rock, crushes their car, and they're supposed to think a rock came out of space.
We're gonna take a meteor and we're gonna put it on Weddle's car. We're gonna take another meteor and put it on Marcus's car. Both of them have no idea that we're doing this. Weddle and Marcus are probably shocked. They had no idea.
And so that was the one and only time I had to, huh? My car? What? And on the fly, I saw him, because Marcus was in that video. So Marcus is calling his mom. Marcus genuinely had no idea. He genuinely had no idea. But so Marcus is calling his mom, and his mom's freaking out. And I'm like, oh no, they're gonna call my mom next. So I had to text my mom, who had to beg to get the title very quickly. Now I'm texting my mom, I go, "Mom, I'm about to call you about the meteor thing. You have no idea? Be surprised." And then I hit send, and then they go, "Call your mom now." And I call my mom and I tell her, and oh, she should have got the Oscar. Oh my God, on the fly, she goes, "What? I'm on vacation." Mom, my car has been destroyed.
Wait, what?
A meteor hit it.
Jacob, I'm on vacation. Do you understand?
Yeah, I did that video, and they're supposed to give me $10K to put a down payment on a new car, and they wanted me to get like a big flashy new car. $10K was supposed to be a down payment. And I can't afford a big flashy new car because I work at MrBeast. So I couldn't get anything I couldn't afford the taxes on. I couldn't get anything I couldn't afford the insurance on. So I do my part of the video, and I get a mom van that I could afford. And Jimmy was like, "Why didn't you get a cooler car?" I was like, I can't afford that, bro. Come on, what are you talking about? You know, if I was working on a TV show in the 90s on a show that was a quarter as successful, I could retire today. But now I make dog shit pay, making gajillionaires more money. And I just walked into the writer's room, and that's one of the reasons why I left, was because I just walked in there and asked for not necessarily a gajillion dollars, but maybe a salary that was more proportional to the work I was doing, given how much revenue that work was doing. And then, you know, I talked about that, and I talked about the Writers Guild.
Ask for a raise, and they decide they don't want you after all.
And how this is what Writers Guild industry standard is for the streaming internet content with ads. I thought that was the closest thing to YouTube, and I didn't even bring up residuals, because oh my god, if I got residuals for every video I worked on, boy howdy, I could retire. But yeah, the other thing I talked about was there was another writer there, older comic, black guy. He had a kid, and I got paid more than him, and I thought that was wild because he was older than me, had a child. We're doing the exact same job, and I'm some 20-year-old fuckhead white guy. Why am I getting paid more than him? I brought that up, and one of the things I didn't like about the way some of the V stuff shook out was I feel really guilty about the way this like shook out. Yeah, I was talking to this other writer, like, it's fucked up, you know, that's how the pay is, and I want you to get paid more, you know, because you deserve to get paid more. You know, I don't have a kid. And he didn't want to rock the boat. He desperately didn't want to rock the boat. He's just, I like my job. I like, you know, because when you grow up with, you know, nothing, not to say that he did, but I know I did, you know. You get a little something, you don't want to lose it. So he didn't want to rock the boat. But he said, hey man, if that's how you feel, you know, like if that's like, I trust you. He stood with me. He went to that meeting with me. And I said my piece, and he backed me up. And I said, I need X, Y, Z, or I'm out of here. And they said, bet. And they gave me a severance check the next day. And they gave him a severance check the next day. And if I knew he was going to lose his job too, I wouldn't have done it.
Damn.
Me, I was over the moon. I was like, you're going to give me a check?
The dude tried to stand up and do the right thing and be like, hey, even if you're not going to pay me any more money, like, can you please take care of this guy? He's got a kid. Like, he's older than me. Money means more to him. I don't have as many needs as this guy. This dude seems very real about what he's saying. And they just, like, let him go. Which, you know, the reality is, it's, like, sad, but it's very true, is that this is a lot of workplaces. This is a lot of workplaces now today in America, is they just do not give a fuck about you at all. They don't give a flying fuck about you. They're not fueled by anything beside money and numbers. Unfortunately, it seems like this is kind of the scenario that this guy found himself into. Unfortunately, it was like for somebody who's supposed to be, or is seen as, like, a good guy. Like, but
and I get to leave. You know, I don't get to deal with the yeah. How many Orbeez can I fit up my asshole every day? You know, and I get to go home, and you're gonna pay me to leave. I was over the moon, and he was devastated. He did not want. I said he just wanted to be in the room, you know. And I really regret that. But you know, me and him are really still tight. We're still good friends. Is he doing good? Yeah, he's doing good. He's a good guy. I love that guy. He's doing good. Yeah.
So maybe you'll feel better?
Honestly, best thing I could have done for him. Now that he's very, very far removed from all this crazy shit, I guess.
Do you think Jimmy really enjoys doing good and helping people?
I think Jimmy wants to be the best YouTuber. I think he is laser focused on one goal. And I think whatever he has to do to achieve that goal, he'll do. And I think it was the smartest decision for him that he calculated, because he's very good with numbers.
Good girl.
If I donate to charity, people can't say I'm shitty. If I give this homeless guy 10K, what do you mean I'm a bad guy? But I've always thought if you're going to do something nice for somebody and you stick a camera in their face while you do it, you didn't do a nice thing for somebody. You gained something. There was a homeless guy on the street and you saw an opportunity for yourself and your image, and you gave one guy $10,000 who needed it to eat, and now the revenue you generated from that video is way more than what you gave. I think when he's generous on camera, it's the least authentic thing in the world. There's an element of, you know, oh, hey, you're crying. That's so good for camera. You know, I'm so glad if you're crying because you're so thankful that you got XYZ, and then you go, oh, I'm so glad he needed it that bad so I could come in and, can you cry more? Oh, it's so good for the camera if you could. Oh, it made me uncomfortable that I was working there, and I didn't like it, and I vocalized it sometimes, and I think that's why I wasn't on camera as much as they said I was going to be. I was told at one point that I was going to be like fourth banana, you know, it was going to be Jimmy, Kris, Chandler, me, you know, and then that never happened. I remember talking about that, like, hey, I thought my contract said XYZ. And then I got the severance checks. So, you know, whatever, all that regard.
So after your severance checks, how was your relationship with the company? I know you appeared in videos after that, right?
Right. So in videos where I was...
he says, I'll have to look back in the beginning of the interview. We're at 13:13 now. But he said Jimmy didn't like him. But he was told at one point that he was supposed to be the fourth on the totem pole.
Times maybe purposefully kept to the shadows a little bit. I'm in the cutting room floor a lot of the time. But I've been in some videos. I've worked on a lot of them. I was there from 2019 to 2020, 2021-ish when I came back and did some more. I was there when they were authentic, and then I saw the transition to what I feel like is a company. He's like a TV show now. It went from YouTuber guy with a camera to Amazon. The culture around there was very unspoken, but there was a vibe. There was half the people who, if you made Jimmy happy, you were on the good half. And these people got random bonuses and were usually moved up, had more screen time.
I mean, maybe
there was people who, if you had a disagreement or butt.
Because this is kind of redundant now. So I don't doubt that he ended up getting somebody else fired. There's no telling what he said for all that to happen. And then he said that the other guy backed him up. So there's no telling, like, what the other guy said to back him up. And maybe he got fired for a justified reason. You know, I honestly do think the guy is regretting the fact that the guy put a lot of trust in him, his friend, that he could get it to happen to where he could actually make a little bit more money. And I don't doubt that they are underpaid. I don't doubt that either for a second. But he's saying, and we'll have to continue listening to what he was saying, but he's saying now that
heads with Jimmy, or just you didn't like it. You know, you were the other half. And I consistently was in the half that Jimmy did. Jimmy doesn't like me. That's fine. I don't like him either.
He was consistently in the half of people that didn't like him. But he was told at some point that he would be like fourth on the camera. He did say that he worked from 2019 to 2021, so maybe he is omitting the fact that, because he did say that he was there when they were authentic, and then he saw the transition into being a company. So maybe that was when he started being in Jimmy's bad graces. So, well, let's see what he says.
Severance checks. How was your relationship with the company? I know you appeared in videos after that, right?
Right. So in videos where I was appearing in later, that's why you keep nice publicly. If you're nice in public, hey, Jake was nice in public. Let's have him back for something. You know, yeah, sure. So I was hoping they call back. You know, and I appeared in some videos after I left. I think one of them was 3 days in a maximum security prison. If I did do mini challenges in that, I got paid. I was, you know, clocked in with a rate, and I would get paid and compensated for those. But there was one video I was in. I got paid a lot for it, but it didn't come out. It didn't come out because it didn't go well. There was a video that came out probably like a year ago, something like that. It got a lot of hot water when it came out. It was the like surviving like $10,000 every day you survive in solitary, or surviving solitary for whatever. It was one of those solitary confinement videos that got a lot of media attention because everybody saw the premise and thought, what? You shouldn't do that. And People don't know that was the second attempt. The first attempt was on me, and it didn't go well. I was already planning on moving to New York, and I had worked at a couple of YouTube companies after Beast, and I had a little bit of change in my pocket. You know, the most change I had in my pocket ever. You know, small potatoes, you know, compared to Beast bullshit. But you know, I thought I had enough to move to New York or whatever. And I get a call from somebody over there, and they go, "Hey, they want you for a video." I was like, "Oh, amazing, great, cool, thank God." What's the video? And they tell me the pitch. And they try to make the pitch sound like it's gonna be like a walk in the park. The pitch is 100 days in solitary confinement, but don't worry, like you only have to last like 30. We have like a video. They're pitching it like at first it's gonna be like a luxury vacation. You're gonna have like a hot tub and an ice cream machine, and like part of the video is gonna be you deciding like what items am I gonna get rid of, you know, today, and it's like the choice. They were like, it's only going to be bad for me to last like 5 days tops when you have like nothing left. You're the first, it's going to be like a breeze for most of it. And by the end of it, after 30 days, you're going to get $300,000 because it's $10,000 a day. And I don't know, man. I grew up poor in North Carolina. I said, excuse me? I'll dance for you if you put that kind of money in my face, sure. They were like, you're going to be locked in this room, and we got to make sure you're on all the time. We're going to have cameras on you all the time, and you're perfect for this because you never shut the...
$10,000 a day for 30 days. I mean, $10,000 a day is more than I make in 5 days. I mean, that 5 days is more than I make in a year is what I was going to say, but I mean, damn, that's crazy.
Shut the fuck up. On paper, I was like, okay, I can do this, and I was. They always cut me out of the videos. They always, and I was, you know, editors have told me that it's because you have too much of a personality. And so with this video, I thought, this is perfect. It's a video they can't cut me out of. I'm the guy. And so I thought, well, if I have to do this, if I have to do solitary confinement in order to do the things I want to do, then I will do that. That I held my tongue and I swallowed my pride and I tried to do one last ride. And I get there, and at first it's fine. And I mean, they had just freshly painted the set. You could smell it, you know, which that's probably not good, you know, the smell of fresh paint in your surroundings for the next XYZ time. It looked good on the visual. It looks good on camera. You know, it's movie magic bullshit. It was a terrible facility. I mean, it was in one of the studios. They had to like get like a separate like tank for, you know, septic stuff. Yeah, there was a hot tub in it. Yeah, there was an ice cream machine. Like things were cool and funny on paper. But when you think about stuff, a hot tub that's not connected to a filtration system, give it 3 days, it's gonna stink. You know, there's not like a hot water mechanism, so the hot tub was a lukewarm tub at best, which was a silly complaint, but the shower was always cold, and you're taking like a quick shower, and I had cameras 24/7 on me, and the ice cream machine, let's talk about that for a second. The ice cream machine has 2 modes, on, and off, reeking of smelly dairy mildew, like, so I...
Sounds terrible, honestly. I mean, a lukewarm tub, yeah, that'd be rough. Like, there's gonna be all sorts of different smells coming from different places. I mean, you've got paint, the stale water that's not being filtered, it's not being like cleaned of any sort of germs or bacteria or anything like that. And then you've got the ice cream machine when it's not on, like the smell of old dairy. Other than that, it's pretty much you're sitting inside of a fast food restaurant for, you know, like the buzzing, the white noise. I can't personally stand it. My old job, well, actually my current job, but when I used to work in the office, would broadcast white noise, and they would try and get me to, they'd say that it's supposed to help us focus more. I said, I cannot do it. I can't do it. I'm going to have my headset on and I'm going to have an earbud in the other ear. And they wanted to get me in trouble over and over for it. And I was like, look, I can't do the white noise. Turn the white noise off. And they would do that during the weekends, and Saturday we'd come in and the white noise would be gone, and it was fine. But it is something that will literally drive you crazy. I mean, there's people with tinnitus that love white noise because it gets rid of the ring in their ear, but I'm not one of those people. And so I can completely relate and understand what he's saying.
I got to choose which sense was assaulted at a time. I couldn't have all of them good. So the little things started to build up. You know, there was like the bug thing wasn't like terrible, but it was a factor. And like at first it was fine, you know, and you're playing it up like, cause you know it's a video. And it got to a point where like they weren't turning the lights off. You know, I asked them, I said, can we like have like nighttime hours? You know, and they said no. Because it would fuck up the time-lapse shots. The time-lapse of what? Me sleeping? Or me not sleeping? Yeah, I saw in other videos they did like, oh, you're gonna get XYZ hours of sunlight. Oh, great! Well, I don't know how they figured that one out. I didn't have it. You know, one of the things was you got to take away your clock, so you didn't know what time it was. Okay, I got no access to sun. I got no access to clock. I don't know, like, the lights are on me all the time. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep, and I have insomnia problems now. But they might have started there. I had good people looking out for me. I had a lot of good people looking out for me, saying this we gotta stop. So I just wanted to turn the lights off, and I'm vocalizing to people. I wish the lights would turn off, and I go up to my friend, my good friend. And I go, they're not turning the lights off. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists.
The United Nations considers sleep deprivation to be a form of torture and a war crime under the Geneva Convention and the UN Torture Convention. The UN defines torture as any physical or mental pain and suffering, and sleep deprivation can cause serious physical and mental harm. It is prohibited by international law as cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment of detainees.
Oh, good. 24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess, is what we're doing. So, you know, they're giving me, you know, melatonin, you know, it's not helping, you know, and then Jimmy would come in like every other day for like an hour, you know, to check in on me because he's doing other stuff. You know, I'm just the guy in the cage over here. He'll come back to me in a minute. And so he'd come by, he'd get the shots, he'd leave. Sometimes he'd have a note with the director over the phone. That would really piss me off. This is the note I got from the director, from Jimmy, when I'm receiving some cash. He said, Jimmy said, can you say to the camera how thankful you are that now you can pay back your student loans?
Oh, no.
You know how hard it was to do a take of that? And pretend to make it genuine? I don't want to have student loans. I don't want to be in a cage. But Jimmy's the guy with the money, and if you do what he says, he'll do what you want. You want your student loans paid off? You just be in this cage. And you have power over people. When one person doesn't have resources and the other one does, and they hold it over your head, and you go, of course, yeah, I agreed to it. I needed it, of course. And just something about like having the cameras on me all the time. Like I was not having a good time.
How's that,
but
Chad?
we
Is that
were
better?
filming a video, so I was trying my best to be funny. You know, I'm a dark comic. You know, I got bits about. I had a very traumatic life. I have my dad.
Yeah, this
is in
feels pretty
jail
cruel.
For sexual assault of a minor. You know, so this kind of stuff is very near and dear to my heart. You know, I don't fuck around with this shit. Yeah, I have jokes about that in my act. You know, I joke about it because that's what you do in a traumatic experience. You know, abusive relationships. I get out of it. The first thing I do is I do a type-line about it. You know, so I'm in this situation where my mental health is not good. My physical health is getting worse, but we're filming. So I'm doing bits. I'm talking to the camera. And I'm being, you know, like, hey, it's been a couple days. I'm not doing so hot, you know, which if I'm filming a video, that's what I should be doing for the camera, but it was too real. If they're faking videos, why couldn't we fake this one? You know, if we're allowed to let these cast members have some time off of this difficult challenge, how come we couldn't turn the lights off? How come we couldn't maybe not have some time lapse footage for 10 seconds?
Did you try to get out?
Yes! I was starting to calculate. I don't know if I could do 30. How much can I? Well, how can I manage to get out of here sooner, and still have a video and still have some cash and get the plug, man. I did. Since we're doing time-lapse shots, and since they insisted on time-lapse shots, I said, all right, we're gonna do time-lapse shots bet. I put my YouTube on with the whiteboard they gave me. And I was like, all right, yeah, go ahead and scrub that footage. You know, you got that whiteboard. Oh no, either that goes in or this footage is unusable. And then, you know, James Warren came in and erased it. You know, fucking, you know, don't put that. Hey, we can torture him. Don't you dare let him get a plug in there. You know. Like we were playing up the joke. You know, it's like, oh, I'm the boy in the cage. You know, whatever. Like I'll play into a joke. Whatever, it's fine. It's just something weird about when Jimmy jokes. I have jokes about my dad. Because I love jokes from my dad.
So they wouldn't let him put his YouTube plug on a whiteboard. Like they wouldn't let him put his YouTube channel on a whiteboard and let him plug his channel. You know, there's one time that he let somebody do that. And I think it was the $1 million in a glass box where they had to keep their hand on the box. I'm pretty sure it was the one. It was like, you'll win $1 million and we'll plug your YouTube channel. And it ended up being some dude who ended up doing like gymnast videos. I remember looking for his channel. It was like the only MrBeast video I've seen and it was something about like they had to win the contest. I mean, Jimmy knows. He knows that he's trying to make the best videos, and he knows if you're not watching his videos, you're watching somebody else's videos.
I have friends that make fun of my dad. That's fine, because I know their intent. I know where they're coming from. When Jimmy joked with my dad, and I said that to seem weird. I don't like it. We were doing one of those hide and seek videos. Again, you know, at the time they were a lot realer. So I got caught, and when you get caught, you know, you go to the place where you get caught. And I don't know if there's footage of this. I don't know if I definitely didn't make the final cut. But he says to me, "All right, you're going to jail. You know, like your dad." And like, it's a joke. But when my friends do it, it's fine. And Jimmy just wasn't my friend. He was my boss. And that wasn't cool. And so now, I'm locked in a cage at his whim. And I have to do things to get the cash I need to live. And I got these cameras on me all the time. And I was unwell. I had editors coming up to me saying, "You good, bud?" And I was like, "Yeah, why? You're clearly unwell." And he goes, "Well, because the footage you're sending in is haunting. Because I'm trying to be funny, but I am mentally decaying, so I'm doing bits." Someone said there is a horror cut of a video in this. And I'm sitting like, who's watching this? Like, who wants to see this? What is fun about this, the video? And so the thing that made me I gotta get out. I can't do another day in a year. Jimmy comes in and I'm asleep. I don't know what time it is. I don't know, it's like 2 or 3 or whatever. He's like, "Why is he sleeping?" I don't know, because I can't sleep. And he comes in, he wakes me up. And he goes, "Ask me why I have 2 briefcases." And I'm like, why do you have 2 briefcases? And he goes, "Oh, because this one's for today, you know, and this one's for the challenge." And I go, "What's the challenge today?" He goes, You're gonna run a marathon. You're gonna do the 22.6K, whatever it is, and you're gonna do it on that treadmill over there. The first challenge I did was a Rubik's Cube, and I'm dyslexic. I'm dumb. I don't know how to do a Rubik's Cube. So your first challenge, Rubik's Cube. I was like, "Oh, I don't want to do it." I was like, "On camera, I don't want to do it." He goes, "Just do it for the thing, my kid, you know." Like there was an element of, oh, Jake will do what we want because he's in house. You know, that's one of the reasons why they got me. Jake's he's an inside guy, so he'll do whatever. We can push him a little extra hard because we know he's good. We know he's. I couldn't say no to the treadmill thing. Yeah. So I people who run marathons train forever.
Yeah,
and
they
it's
train
still
for that.
hard. Again, writer. Do I look like I run? I don't run. You know, let alone a marathon. Let alone have training for it. So I was in a sunlightless, you know.
Did you try to say no? Like, did you have a choice or?
based on the Rubik's Cube thing and based on all the other stuff, like there was so much pressure to just do it, just do the thing, you know? And if I refuse, it's just, oh, that's the whole video. I guess the budget's, so much money up in flames because Jake said he wouldn't want to do the thing. And so I wanted to be a good sport and I wanted to get the boost and I wanted the cash. And so I started running at 12. I was able to take some breaks and I asked him, how long do I have? He goes, until I get back. And I'm running until 3 a.m. All right, I got off the treadmill. Oh, the blisters I had on my feet were like, you wouldn't believe, just all over, just these big red. I couldn't walk. My muscles were like just the lactic acid. I got off the treadmill, and then the people that came in to like ice my feet, make sure I was good. Then that's when I was like, I'm done. I can't. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out. And that's when I get psych in and talk to the psych about how I'm not well. And like I said, there was a lot of good people over there that was saying, you got to pull him out. Yeah, I had friends that did some freelance work. And they would tell me, they'd be like, yeah, everyone knows you over there. Everybody loves you. They go, oh, Jake Weddle, love that guy. Shame what happened to him.
What do you guys think? What do you think, chat? This is pretty intense, honestly. I think he's telling the truth. I think it sounds like to me that they didn't treat him like a human being. And that was like the idea behind it, right? You guys understand though that if this comes out to be true, this is going to be like a huge hit for people and their faith in humanity. Because Jimmy was supposed to be the guy that was good. Like, MrBeast was supposed to be that dude. But you reap what you sow, I guess. We'll keep watching the video and see.
Like I'm a ghost.
This hurts to hear, though.
And I asked him, I said, how much longer are you guys going to keep me in here? And the guy goes, realistically, like at least 7 more days? No. And they didn't let me leave right away either. They wanted to make sure, everything was fine. So I just, slept for a while. They turned the lights off. And they brought in all my friends, to make it.
At least his friends were there. Because this guy, if he went through the shit that he went through, there's gonna be people that were like, I was there, I saw it happen.
I liked. And Jimmy. Then everybody was around me making sure I was good, making sure I was okay. But Jimmy had his he was sitting in the chair turned around like an evil villain. Swear to God, everyone was looking at me and he was like Lex Luthor over there. He turns around, he stands up. He does the exact same thing when he's pretending to have a human connection. When you're watching a video and he's like, oh, stop, you're gonna make me cry. And he touches his eye or whatever as if he's crying. He's just... I didn't have to pretend to do that shit. She says, as if rehearsed by his lawyers. Yeah, your mental health's the most important thing. Just want to make sure you're okay. And the last thing we want you to do is... I can almost hear the word Sue come out of his mouth. The S. He just stopped right before it got out. I did not get the 300K. What I got, he goes, think of it this way. At least you get to keep what you earned. You were in there for XYZ days. You did XYZ challenges, so you got, 100,000 some change, you know, give or take. You know how much money I spent in taxes in 2021? I spent $44,000 in taxes alone. And now I spent all that money on doing stand-up. I bought plane tickets to go do comedy festivals. You know, my family back home, I gave them a bunch of stuff that they needed. And haven't been back on a Beast set in any official capacity or unofficial capacity since then. And then they did the video with somebody else, and they worked out the kinks. And then I'd still gotten some hot water, and I knew it would. And I've wanted to say a lot of this for a long, long, long time. And I feel good now. I just had to get that out there.
So I just want to hop in here and show some text that Jake.
Jeez. All right. Well, clearly we need to see if there's like evidence. He's probably got some evidence of this happening. There's obviously a photograph of him like sitting there on top of the pool table eating prison food. So,
send me after this interview. This is July 29, 2021. A few
is he going to read
days
it?
after you got out of solitary. How are you feeling after a few days? Better. I still couldn't sleep even a few days out, but I almost have my sleep cycle back on track. My legs and joints are good, but the blisters on my feet still hurt to walk on. Medical advice I got was not to lance them and just let them go away with time. I'm mentally still in an uneasy place, but I've gotten back on better help. My therapist is a little concerned, but we are working on things. Reminder, this is not supposed to be a traumatic life event. This is supposed to be a MrBeast video. Hey Jake, hope you're doing okay. Meg and I just wanted to check in on you. Hey, I'm good and I appreciate that. I'm not exactly 100%. I feel like mentally I'm still recovering a bit, but back in therapy and my therapist is concerned. Haha, but my legs and joints feel better, like I can walk, but my feet are still covered on those blisters and those hurt to walk on. But I was told the best thing to do is stay off my feet and let them heal. I'm in Raleigh with my family. Also, it'll be like a month before I get the money, and they aren't giving me all the money. They're giving me what I won up to that point in the game, which was also a slap in the face, but hey, I'm out, I'm alive. Therapist who knows and cares about you. The whole thing was so fucked, and honestly, fuck them for not giving you the money. Meg and I are wishing you the best with your recovery, and please feel free to reach out if you need anyone to talk to or need a place to crash in New York. Hope you're doing well, man. That video you uploaded is money, so good. I appreciate. I'm doing better physically. Mentally, I'm still kind of in a place. I still can't sleep. I've slept 5 hours in the past 3 days, marathon included. I don't know what's wrong with me. Lots of thinking, too much one might say. Hope they're taking care of you where they can. I mean, I was kind of shocked they didn't pay me for the full 25, 30 days. They paid me what I made up to that point. Like even when we have to pull the plug for my mental health, the mechanism of the game is still at play. I'm just happy to be out. I still can't walk well, but it hurts less. And like, I'm not famous enough to burn a bridge. So at the end of the day, I'm still Jimmy's bitch. Like if I was Carl and he did that to me, I'd ruin him. And they want to do it again. That could be your leverage. If the guy breaks down also, 2 is better than 1. Yeah, right. I told them everything they did to me that they can't do again in order to make sure the other person doesn't break down as fast. But like the way the video is meant to function is the problem. It's a bad idea, full stop. It sounds clickbaity, sounds right up Jimmy's alley, but it's morally unethical like on every level. Off-camera breaks, lights off at night, visitation, take the marathon out.
Needs to be off-camera breaks. I mean, not just that, but there needs to be some sort of humanizing aspects. I'm just against it in general. The 10-day, 4-person, 1 at... So who is this that he's talking to in this? I'm just against it in general. The 10-day, 4-person, 1... at least have 4 people that can talk to each other. Yeah, the solitary confinement thing. Also, another thing that's clearly faked was, and I thought this was really weird, was Jimmy did this solitary confinement video. Let's leave that comment. I'm sure that it might come up, but we'll leave that comment if it doesn't. Jimmy did a solitary confinement video in which all sorts of people were frequently visiting him in his room. He was not in solitary confinement by any shot.
Marathon is a video in itself. You can't expect someone to exert themselves like that for 45 seconds of content. The challenges really made it feel dehumanizing, felt like a parody of MrBeast. I felt like the homeless guy they could exploit. It felt like of Jeff Bezos had a GIMP. It felt like if Jeff Bezos had a GIMP. Part of me wants the footage burned, and part of me thinks that there's a great horror cut in there.
Today, I held Jeff Bezos GIMP hostage. Yeah, it's really terrible. What does GIMP mean? Does GIMP mean that you're like have a limp or something? What does it mean? Chat, do you guys know? Jimmy did exactly what we thought at the beginning. He can't just stay another 10 days. Part of me wants all the footage burned, and part of me thinks there's a great horror cut in there. He was so fake when he came in and said he cared about my mental health.
Mayo, he was so fake when he came in and said he cared about my mental health. They must have programmed the care about mental health updates. He said, we also don't want you to, and I swear to our Lord and Savior, he stopped himself from saying sue. Also, as far as like, he could have said no, he could have left at any time. I want to show this segment from an internal document at MrBeast called How to Succeed in MrBeast Production. Specifically on page 19, there's a paragraph called No does not mean no. Already insane.
Say what? Hold on one second. Wow. This so okay, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm an arbitrator. So when I look at pieces of evidence, I look at their credibility. So I don't know where this is coming from. This would have to be proven that it came from him, right?
On page 19, there's a paragraph called No does not mean no. Already insane, because it's sort of, it seems to be co-opting the popular anti-rape slogan. Which is a terrible look given the allegations that are going to be coming out very soon. It reads, when dealing with people outside MrBeast Productions, never take no at face value. If we need a store to buy everything inside of, and you can call the local Dollar Tree, and the person that answers says, no, you can't film here, that literally doesn't mean shit. Talk to other employees and see if they are fans or if any have kids that are fans. Try talking to their boss's boss. Have me DM them on Twitter and try their social team. If all avenues are exhausted and you are left with a no, that doesn't mean don't try the other Dollar Trees because the manager of those could be huge fans and willing to bend the rules. Basically what I'm trying to convey is what we call pushing through no. Don't stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. This is one of many tools that when combined dramatically improve your probability of success when producing here.
That's cringe.
So yeah, this idea of like pushing through no's is a big component to working at MrBeast. And the way that it manifests itself a lot of the time is like a director might tell a producer, hey, we need access to 30 acres of farmland by Tuesday or we lose $500,000. Now, if you're the producer, you obviously know that means get it done or you lose your job. So what can happen is like a producer's calling up farmers saying, hey, I need to use your land. And the farmer might be like, okay, but you know, I have animals, you can't be making really loud noises, no pyrotechnics, and you got to clean everything up. So the producer's sort of incentivized to lie and say, or maybe the producer doesn't even actually know the total contents of the video, right? Things changed last second. So they're very like, they're financially incentivized to be manipulative and sort of, they're put in positions where it's like, oh, it's either the producer's job or a civilian's job, like where it talks about, hey, maybe the manager would be willing to bend the rules. Well, you shouldn't really be pressuring civilians to bend the rules that could get them fired, you know? I'll show you a real life example. This is unused evidence from part 1. I had seen this Reddit.
Trashing film sets. Top YouTuber celebrates 100 millionth subscriber. Trashes remote Bahamas island. MrBeast leaving trash and debris at film site in Aden, North Carolina.
Post titled MrBeast leaving trash behind and debris at film site in Aden, North Carolina. Apparently he left a large boat in a pond as well as debris around the film site in the bottom of the pond weeks and weeks after the agreed time frame. This actually rendered it unsafe for campers and almost delayed the camp's opening date multiple times due to not being able to get in contact with MrBeast to get the stuff cleaned up out of the area. So I actually know that this is from a MrBeast video called Protect the Yacht, Keep It. Where at the end of that video, he actually says...
If you're wondering, yes, we did ensure the lake was completely cleaned up after this video. For the love of God, subscribe so we can pass T-Series.
Yeah, so he says at the end of the video that they made sure it was cleaned up. I was actually on site for part of this production. I was at this camp. So I decided to send an email out to the camp, basically saying, hey, I heard these rumors, I'm investigating a similar incidents. And the camp responded, actually not denying the claims, going on to say, I am sure that there are no perfect film productions, just as there are no perfect people. I am grateful for the opportunity that we had to host the production crew, and because grace, or forgiveness, has been offered to me so freely, I will choose to offer the same. So clearly alluding to the fact that there was a wrongdoing by MrBeast production team. And that's like sort of the thing is, if you're around Greenville, you know these stories of people working with MrBeast and it being extremely unprofessional, them not doing what they say, but they sort of get by a lot.
He's got everybody
their
sworn to
good public
silence.
image. And like, I mean, this camp offered to host them completely for free. And I guarantee, like, if you went to the lake at the camp and you went magnet fishing, like you'd find all sorts of debris that's still there to this day. Like, they didn't clean it all up. So in the case of Jake Weddle, like, I'm sure that there were producers who were in a position of, hey, if Jake gets out early, we don't have a video and your job is at risk. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure on top of like him being delirious from not sleeping and everything to just manipulate him into staying. Which, you know, I'm sure this isn't like technically against the Geneva Convention on torture because he wasn't technically a prisoner. Like, he could have left at any time, but because of the extreme pressure to stay in, it's not really a reasonable expectation that he could have just, you know, walked out.
Because of the implication.
I think Jimmy is a awkward kid who maybe, yeah, had it a little rough growing up. I can't speak on that, but I do have empathy for it. Because I had it rough growing up, and I think when you're hyper fixated on something, like I love stand-up, he loves YouTube, everyone, fixates on a thing, I think he just wanted to be the best YouTuber so bad, and because the industry's metrics, rewarded some not great behavior, if you're just going on autopilot based on what the numbers say, you can do some things that maybe aren't good, but reap reward. And I think Jimmy just did what the industry and maybe what this system that we have set up demanded. And he didn't care who got hurt. And I think Jimmy surrounded himself with really, really not so great people, and those people were the ones making the decisions. And I want to say, really important, there are so many good people that work at MrBeast who are damn good at their jobs. Like, when Jimmy...
You know the people that he surrounded himself with, right, chat? I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm letting you know now that this kid he had help. Like, he is called MrBeast for a reason, because he sold his soul. And the people that are around him they are very connected with the devil. So
he comes in and asks for something impossible, it's these people's jobs to do it. And they shouldn't be able to make it happen, and they do. And so I don't think people wanted to talk about stuff because I didn't want my friends to lose their jobs. I don't care about my fucking job. I'll die in a hole. I don't care. But I don't want my friends to lose their jobs. I don't want anyone's reputation to be fucked. But let's just go back to my dad for a second, if I may. My dad was like a swim coach, neighborhood swim team. Everybody loved him. Everybody loved him. Behind closed doors, he's a real piece of shit. And so when stuff starts hitting the fan, what? Him? No. Surely. And then, everyone, thought my mom was the bitch, for not, But then the news broke, that he did what he did to one of the students of the team. And it's like when that comes out, you're not surprised, You just go, when I saw my dad in the news, I said, oh, you idiots. Like, I was like, no, I was, dumbass, god damn it. But I wasn't surprised. And it was just consequences happening to somebody who was really good at avoiding them for a long time. And I don't know, everybody loves Jimmy. And behind closed doors, he is not super great. And that image is cultivated purposefully and intentionally. And it's branding, it's marketing, it's YouTube.
Okay, so I guess, yeah, just one final question on
Sure.
a serious note. Obviously, the Ava Kris Tyson drama, and, you know, that's a known issue of traditional media. Did you witness or hear about any sexual misconduct at the company?
It's crazy. I probably hung out with Ava the most out of the main cast just because I was on Beast Hacks, now Beast Reacts. I don't know if it's still out. That was a lot of fun because it was just, you know, being silly and goofy in front of the camera. And Ava was the only person who was willing to film. Everybody else was too busy or didn't want to, and I was just trying to do my job. Sometimes there'd be like an offhanded joke that's a little gross. I mean, I'm a stand-up, so I'm very desensitized to that. I didn't hear anything that was like, whoa, that's crazy. Like when I saw, the reason I messaged you instead of talking to reporters sweetly like I have been was when I saw the Discord stuff because when I got there, it was like 2019. So I guess if the timelines add up, that would have been like handled, for lack of a better term. And then they started bringing more people on. You know, maybe they thought they had that under the rug, you know? All right, we handled that. Now let's bring in some writers, you know? And when I saw it, all that stuff start coming out. And the potentiality, as of this moment of recording, you know, I know this has been happening fast and stuff has been coming out so fast. Just the potential that Jimmy could have been in those Discord chats, or even the potential that he participated in those Discord chats. After the shit he did to me, if you're gonna make fun of my dad, I don't care what happens to me and my career and reputation after this. I had to say some stuff. So whatever happens at this point.
Outside of Ava Kris Tyson, did you notice any or hear about any sexual misconduct at the company?
I've heard rumors. I can't confirm or deny anything. I don't have any tangible evidence, but I've heard stuff that if it could be investigated, that'd be great. But it's like water cooler talk. But I've heard things, yes, of course. I heard, you know, people have been let go for sexually assaulting some very young people. The idea that Jimmy didn't know, or that Jimmy was covering stuff up. He didn't want stuff to come out. You know, he's very careful about his image. You know, the tangible proof that he knew but covered it up. You know, how do you prove that, you know? Well, there was a known sex offender, registered sex offender, convicted sex offender on the registry and everything who worked there.
What's up with this?
And like you can, you know, someone pees in public, you're on the registry, you know, you get it.
What was that?
You can still have a job after you're on the.
It looked like
that's one thing.
Looked like they were going to add an image of somebody and then they didn't.
Yeah, you go to prison, you get rehabilitated.
What's up, Psychor?
That's one thing. You know, like if you do your time, that's fine. I think there should be rehabilitation in this country. But that guy, from what I hear, I can't confirm or deny. From what I hear, he's on the registry for doing some not great stuff to some underage people, and they knew that. And he's working at a channel that has underage people on and around and is targeted to underage people. And they covered up the fact that not only did he work there, but he was like the manager when it all started. And you know that he knew, and because he'll be in videos, he'll be in thumbnails, he'll be around, and whenever he is, he's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? And that your face could be looked up on a thing? How much more can you literally cover up a sex offender with a physical mask? Like, do I have to? Is it more?
They all
on
look the
nose,
same.
or?
There's websites where you can go and look up sex offenders, and you can see their photos. You can see how close they are to you. On account, I have a child on the way. That is something that I have done. And I've noticed something is that when you look at them, they all have the same face. They all have the same energy to them. And that guy that they just showed might be one. I don't know. It's hard to say because he had the mask on, right?
I don't know why they let him go, because there's rumors back and forth, so I don't know why they let him go, but he did leave at one point. Even if that guy didn't do anything, they still knew about it and he was still around. And what if he's one of the people in the Discord servers? What if he's not? I don't know. But when I was there, they called him Delaware. It's like, why do you call him Delaware? I didn't know. Apparently they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware. That's his nickname? Colloquially? Like, yeah, it's Delaware. Don't ask him why, The fuck? And Jimmy knew about it? The likelihood that he didn't know is astronomically low.
Okay, so finally I have a recorded phone conversation. The person on the other end of this line is a different former MrBeast employee talking about Delaware. Also, apparently before this phone conversation got recorded, the person on the other end of the line said that the MrBeast team was actually trying to expunge Delaware's record off the registry, and that's what actually like sparked this person to start recording.
Because they're scared of Jimmy. And if you really don't do anything in the affidavits and testimonials from people, you have to move very quickly because one of those people are going to go back and say,
okay, so Reed is MrBeast's former manager who was in the last video telling Jimmy, hey, don't promote gambling to children.
Yeah, right.
So, I think Reed's taken 2 W's this month. Don't promote gambling to children and don't have offenders on payroll. Also, yeah, just from where I'm sitting, it seems extremely unlikely that Jimmy wouldn't know, but I know I'm sure that's the defense he'll go with, so I'll just say preemptively, like, if somehow Jimmy didn't know about Delaware, I think it's still such an extreme level of negligence. Like, what, you're not doing background checks, everyone at your company knows, but somehow you don't know. I think that needs more of an explanation than just saying, I didn't know. Well, how didn't you know? How did this person get into the company and a company that makes content for children and is around children? So yeah, Jimmy, I think we need an explanation from you or your lawyers and PR people and representatives and spokespersons and on how you could have not known that there was an offender at a high level in your company. And while you're responding to that, why not just respond to the allegations of rigging contest videos and selling fake signatures, running illegal lotteries, the dangerous conditions on the set of Beast games, you should address those too. So yeah, just let us know. Okay, that was my interview with former MrBeast employee Jake Weddle.
Yeah, so I've pointed out several times during us looking at this, like, there are clear moments where the videos were faked. So, we already know that the videos are faked. If it's for TV entertainment purposes, then that's totally fine, whatever. But like, these are real people that are being affected. This guy, he had gone through like mental torture, kind of war crime level of isolation and not being able to do like anything about it. Wanted to kind of stay in there, couldn't say anything about it because of a non-disclosure agreement. Like, that's pretty serious accusations. So it's like before, we're just going to have to wait and see what Jimmy says. And I don't think it's going to be until part 3 comes out. What he was saying is that there is going to be a part 3 that has to do with some serious sexual allegations, some serious things that we probably don't want to hear about. And like I was saying earlier, Jimmy was supposed to be the guy. So if all this, or even some of this stuff comes out to be true, it's really going to be unfortunate because it's going to leave a big blow on people's faith in humanity. Jimmy was supposed to be the guy, like, that was nice to people, kind, and like help them out and get them out of a rough spot. But really what it sounds like is that he was just using people as objects. So we'll have to see what he says. It's not going to be for a while, guys. Like you can sit and watch other videos on this all you want. It's going to be like probably 2 more weeks before anything else comes out about this. And then it's the next update's probably going to be MrBeast releasing another completely random video for some other random thing. You'll see that again, and then you'll see Dogpack404 come out with part 3. Apparently he's already received like a final notice, cease and desist on this. Like I said, we've got my one MrBeast shirt right here. I'm ready to burn it. Let's cut it up. What do you say, stream? I'm not wearing this anymore. I refuse to. It was kind of a nice shirt though too. Who made this? Canvas? It doesn't say. Oh, but what it does say though. Machine wash cold, tumble dry low, subscribe to Beast, make a difference, sub to Beast or else. Fuck this guy. Yeah, I'm done, guys. Came back to it being cut. Yeah. Yeah, fuck him. We're not doing this anymore. I won't support him. I believe that he's MrBeast for a reason. I was saying this earlier. Like, the people that he surrounded himself with, not good people. Why do you think that is? And also, why do you think that his name is MrBeast? Because the people that he surrounded himself with were advocates of the devil, and he sold his soul to get to where he's at. 100%.